Hey killers, you're watching Totally Half Baked, and today we're making David Alan Gore's last meal. If you're wondering why I'm in a different kitchen, it's because me and my fiance moved to Michigan from Arkansas, and when I filmed this, we were staying at his papa's house. Now let's start. We're going to start by taking buttermilk, 4 cups of it. I'm going to pour it in the pan. And then take some pepper and some salt and some garlic powder. Give it a stir. We're going to carefully take each chicken breast, make sure it's completely covered in the buttermilk. I'd recommend using a deeper pan than I did because it makes it difficult. Cover with foil, and we're going to put it in the fridge very carefully, very slowly. There we go. After 5 hours, take it out of the fridge. We're just going to flip around each piece of chicken to make sure that every piece gets a chance to marinate in the flavored buttermilk. Recover it and put it back in the fridge. David Alan Gore was born on August 21st, 1953 in Florida. Gore was fired from his first job as a gas station attendant for drilling a hole into the women's bathroom so that he could spy on women. Shortly after, he became an auxiliary sheriff's deputy using his badge to commit more crimes. Maybe do a background check next time. He also got a job as a caretaker to a citrus grove. Fred Waterfield was born on September 29, 1952 in New Jersey. The two men were cousins and shared a beyond disturbing hobby that would later land them both in prison. In 1976, police jailed and questioned both Gore and Waterfield after Angela Hommel Austin, age 20, accused them of raping her at gunpoint. The cousins insisted the sex was consensual and they were not charged in her case. This is the next day. The chicken's still marinating in the fridge, and we're gonna prep the potatoes. There they go. We're gonna take our sliced potatoes and put them in freezing cold water and let them soak for at least an hour or two. Now we're gonna heat up our vegetable oil, and then after you drain the water off the fries and pat them dry, we're just gonna fry them once. Let them cool. Do the wiggle test to make sure they're actually cooked. And we're gonna fry them a second time. Don't forget to salt the fries while they're still hot from the oil. February 19, 1981, Gore harassed a 17-year-old girl named Ming Ling while she was walking home from school. He showed her his auxiliary badge and convinced her to get into his truck. He drove to her home and found her mother, Xiang Ling, there alone. He kidnapped both women and drove them to a secluded area. Gore would later admit that he tied Xiang to a tree where she choked to death as he and Waterfield sexually assaulted her daughter. The two men stuffed the women's bodies into oil drums and buried them. Later, on July 15, 1981, Gore disabled Judith K. Daly's car while she was at the beach. He waited for her to return to her car and offered her a ride to the nearest telephone. Gore drove her to a secluded area where he met Waterfield. Both men sexually assaulted and murdered Judith. Gore later claimed that he disposed of her body in a swamp. A week after Daly's murder, Gore attempted to abduct a young girl again, using his auxiliary badge. The girl's father filed a complaint and Gore was stripped of his badge, but he was not actually convicted of a crime. Days after that, he was spotted by police hiding in the back of a woman's car carrying a police scanner, handcuffs, a pistol, and a cocktail. Gore was convicted of armed trespassing and sentenced to 5 years in prison, but was released on parole in March 1983. About 2 months after his release on May 20th, 1983, Gore and Waterfield came across two 14-year-old girls named Angelica Laval and Barbara Ann Byer. They were hitchhiking. The two men sexually assaulted, murdered, and dismembered the two girls. Then, on July 26, 1983, 17-year-old Lynn Elliott and 14-year-old Regan Martin were hitchhiking to Wabasso Beach when Gore and Waterfield picked them up. They took the girls to a house owned by Gore's parents. Waterfield left the house after becoming alarmed upon seeing his sister Debbie Hyatt on the drive over. Gore, now alone in the house with the two girls, admitted to the police that he bound them in separate rooms and sexually assaulted both of them. While he was assaulting Regan, Lynn managed to escape. She ran out of the house nude with her hands still tied. She made it to the driveway, but Gore chased after her and shot her twice in the head. That's when a young boy riding a bike witnessed Lynn's murder and quickly alerted the police. This led to a 90-minute standoff between Gore and the police. The cops arrested Gore and rescued Regan, who was tied up in the attic, wounded but still alive. Now that the chickens had a chance to marinate in the fridge, we're going to get the dry dredge ready by adding 4 cups of all-purpose flour, 1/3 cup of cornstarch, some garlic powder, red pepper, salt, and pepper. And just stir that up so it's mixed thoroughly. And after 11 hours, we're going to take our chicken and make sure it's completely covered in the flour. Now it's ready for frying. We have the preheated oil. The bigger pieces of chicken can take about 12 minutes to cook, while chicken like wings maybe takes about 6 minutes to cook. Just make sure to fry it till it's a nice golden brown. Put it on the cooling rack, and I suggest adding some salt and pepper. Now the easiest part, go to a store, get some butter pecan ice cream, and put it in a bowl. Fred Waterfield is serving 2 consecutive life sentences for his crimes. David Alan Gore was convicted of murder, kidnapping, and sexual assault. He was sentenced to death by lethal injection. He was executed on April 12, 2012. His last meal consisted of fried chicken, french fries, and butter pecan ice cream. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and find me on Instagram. As I'm editing this, I noticed I reached 100 subscribers. I really enjoy making these videos, and I appreciate everyone that watches and subscribes.